All right, you guys, welcome to Esoteric Atlanta on the Confused Wanderer today because I'm in the corner again, Catherine. As we
We've been in the corner a bit, few too many times. Yeah, naughty us.
Well, if you're just joining me for the first time, if you're a subscriber to Todd or if you're new to Esoteric Atlanta, Todd is my partner, so this is the backup, and Catherine again is one of my besties over across the pond in the UK. I guess you probably already could tell that. And so we do these coffee chats. We alternate every other week. Sometimes we cover serious topics, sometimes we cover comical topics, and these coffee chats are not for us to like have answers. Like they're more for us just to kind of talk about issues, and we don't have the answers to these issues. It's just like we're sitting around a coffee cafe and just chatting by the fire of what our opinions are and either it's current events or whatever. And so please make sure you are subscribed to Catherine. Again, her links will be down in the description box below. She also gets in trouble a lot, so we're the bad girls of YouTube. So
Oh dear, we've got to change that this year. We've got to just, yeah, we've got to be a bit clever about it. But it's hard. It's hard when you want to have honest
yeah.
conversations. It's really, really hard. However, we are on someone else's platform. For all its bad points, it's got a lot of good points because look, there's so much information you can find out, and that's why we sometimes have to speak in code.
Absolutely. Hold on one second, guys. My boyfriend, the confused wonder, just walked in, and I don't think he knows I'm recording. So hold on one second. I'm recording right now, so sorry, I didn't want him to like do something that he didn't want to
First
like
in,
say.
yeah.
Because he didn't know we were recording. It's this is real life, guys. Catherine and I are not paid actors. We're not controlled opposition. We literally are in our homes just living life. We're just like you guys. And both of us, I think, figured out there was things wrong with the world, and that's why we took our grievances to YouTube. And man, oh man, it's been a battle ever since. And but what we were saying, Catherine, about the whole like us being naughty, and we do talk about things that the powers that be don't like. And because we don't have a favorable opinion about the powers that be. And so, but Catherine, you were telling me before we signed on that there are people that think shadow banning is a myth.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And you and I have learned so much in this journey, and I think all our listeners probably have as well. And there's a couple of different nuances to it. It's like when you're talking about things on YouTube, a lot of it is what you say about it. So you can have generic conversations about a lot of stuff, or as you've mentioned numerous times before, if you're a registered news channel, you
Mhm.
can get away with saying a lot more. But we're not news channels. And if you then really put your finger on the pulse and actually come out with something that's no, this is really what's going on, it's amazing. Look, all of you probably use AI. You can see how quickly they can find anything. You can be on your phone, not even on the phone, and just have it with you and talking to your child about football boots, and suddenly you've got actors for
Yeah.
football boots. Everything's linked to everything. So they can scan every single word that we're saying and really quickly pick out whether they want this to be shown to people or not. So, for example, I've done loads of videos with Dame Wigington on, they're just impossible to find. I've got friends that literally put in Catherine Edwards, Dane Wigington, and like one of the five will come up or none of them. So there's a lot of people that think that you're just whinging when you say shadow banning, and they're like, no, 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 people just don't like your content. But there are some, it's a real thing. People can look it up. And X do it as well. All the platforms do. I mean, I had someone on Instagram yesterday that I did an interview before Christmas on her podcast, and she said she couldn't find me anywhere on Instagram. Her Instagram had blocked her seeing any of my stuff, even though she hadn't. She had to get a friend to. And the reason they do it is if they just ban people talking about everything, it gets very, very obvious. But what they do is they stop your content being seen by people. So most of you, if you use social media, you know that you only see a fraction of people that you subscribe to's posts. Well, that's what they do. They just don't push it out. They hide it. They suppress it, make it really difficult to find. And it is really real, and it's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, it's the math doesn't math. Like Catherine and I both have around I'm 55,000 subscribers, and so before I was ever a shadow banned, I would get when I had less subscribers, I would sometimes get up to 60,000 views a video.
Yeah.
And now I'm lucky sometimes if I break 100 views.
Mm.
That's not the math doesn't math. That means you're being hidden.
And
from
also, I would say it's too much of a coincidence that yours and my channels never get above a certain thing. Like, we talk, we do a lot of stuff together, but we also talk about very different things as well. And the fact that we're both having exactly the same experiences, talk about different things, says it all. These things, they're not coincidences. It is a real thing, and it doesn't put us off because we're not going to comply just to talk
no.
about things they want us to get hits and views. That's not what it's about at all. But also, when you're putting your heart and soul at great sort of cost to yourself to do things like this, it's just frustrating because we're both dog mums. I'm a human mum. We're trying to get information out there that is really important for people to know so that they can make real life decisions on their own life. And this input information is so, so important because we are fed. There's so many false conspiracies. There's so much false information out there to keep people disempowered.
Yeah, it is super frustrating, and it is, but I laugh, Catherine, like I know not everything, every conclusion I've come to has been accurate, but there is obviously something that you and I are both saying somewhere that's correct.
Mm,
Don't know which one, what it is, but that's the thing they don't understand is like the more they shadow ban us, the more I'm like, okay, okay, we're onto something. Something
mm,
we're saying is right because otherwise you wouldn't care. That
absolutely.
if there are people, there's a channel, or I won't say who it is, but I'm not a fan of her. And she puts a lot of conspiratorial stuff out on YouTube. She has a huge platform. She's never
I
shadow
know who
banned.
you mean. Yeah.
Why is she? And she can say all the words that we can't say. And
Mm,
she's never, that's peculiar.
mm.
So she's a truther and she has the answers, but yet she has a huge platform. She's not struggling with, so obviously she's not right because
Mm.
they're cool with her putting that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
even though it's frustrating, I wish we had freedom just to let things be, just to let things, I wish there was no control over that, but this is the way it is. And Catherine, that brings me something I wanted to bring up with you and just chit chat
Mm,
about because, you and I both have really, I consider us to be kind of whistleblowers for the truther community.
mm.
Because we've seen a lot of behind the scenes of a lot of these people that people follow and think are so great, and we know who these people are, and we know they're not really great. We know they're
Because we know them
lying.
personally,
We know
I
them
would say. We
personally.
don't, yeah, we know them personally. We've had personal interactions with them. Most of them, a lot of them we've met in person, not all of them. But yeah, so it's very different. It's not rumors,
No,
if
we know
there's a
these
big
people are
difference.
not who
Yeah,
you think they are, and they're leading you
yeah.
down a very nefarious path. Well, so we've been on this for a while now, for probably almost like 5 years. We've been like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, record scratch. This is just as bad as like the normies, like if
Mm,
not worse. Um, well, one thing I was telling you, Catherine, one thing that I can't stand, speaking of shadow banning about the so-called truther community in a lot of cases is the hypocrisy.
mm,
And I had done a video with Todd where we basically it's fair use. So for those who don't know what fair use is, fair use basically gives people the right to take a video someone else has put out or copyrighted material and give commentary on it. So like for
mm,
example, if I were to download one of Catherine's videos and just upload it to my channel, that would be a copyright violation and Catherine could strike my channel and YouTube would take it down. But if I uploaded one of Catherine's videos and reacted to it, paused it, talked about things, that is considered fair use. It doesn't matter if the person's commentary is positive or negative, as long as it's commentary. This is why we have book reports, that's considered fair use. Any type of journalistic review of things, movie critics, that's all fair use.
mm,
And so I had uploaded a video. Todd and I not we it was Todd's idea. We Jay Campbell, who is a truther, very crazy interview he did with Laura Knight, where it was very troublesome. Some of the things that were being said. So we played it back and we reacted to it. That's under fair use. Well, because our reaction wasn't favorable, was more critical, he struck my channel for a privacy violation. Now, right now it's under review. It takes YouTube about 10 days, and I'll be fine because it's not a privacy violation. And YouTube has assured me that if he struck my channel just to try to suppress my criticism, then YouTube takes that seriously and they will probably ex-nay his channel for doing that. That's an abuse of the platform. But I thought, Catherine, like it's sad because here all these truthers sit there and talk about freedom of speech, but yet they're trying to suppress people just like the establishment does. They're trying to suppress people if their opinions are not favorable. Does that make sense? Like it's crazy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and it makes me laugh. I'm laughing because I mean, if we'd have behaved like that every time someone had said something unfavorable about us, and some of the lies are so hysterical. I mean, I have to bring one up when someone literally there was this whole discussion and a whole video that apparently I'd been to some secret meeting in America. It was just ridiculous. I didn't know any of the people who were at the meeting. I wasn't in America at the time. I was in the UK. It was just completely made up. But I think it's a very important thing to say that actually it's so interesting because it's even with that, and I'm really pleased YouTube are being really good with you, hopefully, about this. But equally, we both know that our videos are on so many pirate channels,
Yeah.
and YouTube
Yes.
do absolutely nothing about it, and they're monetized and got way more views than our content on other people's channels than they are on ours. So I think, also for people watching this, it's really important if we take our energy with us and our decisions really do shape the world where we're living in. We all know that where we spend our money is going to either be supporting good things or bad things. And the same goes when you're looking at content as well. If you've got any inkling whether it's the real person's channel or not, check it out because
Yeah.
unfortunately there's a lot of disruption. But that is awful and we have to be able to take what we give out. The thing is like that's how all of us learn
Yeah.
is by seeing different sides of the argument. And some of the other issues we're going to talk about today is exactly the same. It's not about agreeing, it's about being open enough to ask questions and question your own belief systems enough to think, what if I am wrong? What if I have missed something? Because all of us have got tunnel vision, all
Yeah.
of us. I mean, that's the way the human mind is programmed, and we are all going to have blind spots. And for someone to take that action is just really petty, really, really petty.
And to claim to be awake. And you're right. I mean, there's been crazy conspiracies created about me. One that that I'm Princess Diana in a mask, which I take a great offense to because I'm younger than William. So,
Yeah,
and like, and then part of me is like, well, how come, why can't I just be Brice? Like, why can't I just be some
yeah,
girl? Is my work that valuable that it can't be done by just some regular person? It has to be some select, like, that pissed me off. Oh, apparently I was at an Illuma Schmotty meeting in 1984, but I was born in 1983. So
yeah.
I must have been
You
very
started
annoying
early. You
in
you were
my
a prodigy.
diaper, crying for
Yeah.
my bottle, drooling, like
Mm.
I don't, it's crazy. It's crazy. I even saw someone sent me a screenshot the other day of a picture of a woman with some man. I don't know who, I think it was some celebrity guy. I don't know, maybe a country singer. I don't know. And someone said that that was me, like I'm working with JFK. And I was like, that doesn't even look like me. Like this woman, I'll have to send it to you, Catherine. It was wild. I was like, that doesn't even look like me. Like, but people think I'm like now off working with JFK Jr. and I'm like literally here in Atlanta doing my life. Like but but literally like back to like the whole Jay Campbell thing, like we've never struck people's channel. There's been horrific things said about me. And
Mm.
I've never struck people. I've always done a video to rebuke it, to be like, this is not true, the really bad stuff, not the funny stuff. But I've never struck somebody's channel because do believe in freedom of speech. I do. And
And
so
we get what we put out there. This is the whole point, is you can't say that this is all right if my side do it, if my church does it, if my political party does it, if the person that I think is right does it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a bit like the same old argument. Everyone have heard it. If I sat here and said, Brice, you look like a pink elephant, you'd just laugh and you'd think
yeah,
she's an so what you're going on because it doesn't ring true at all. But if I sat there and said something that really hit a nerve, so again, the fact that you've had that reaction is hitting her because if what you were saying was completely ridiculous, you'd just laugh it off, wouldn't you? And just think, oh,
yeah. And the thing is with Jay, we tried reaching out to him. Like we tried
mm,
to reach out to bring him on our channels to like have a healthy conversation and a debate about this. But the fact that he reacted in such almost a violent way,
yeah,
by trying to just instead of acting in a humanitarian way, because he doesn't like our opinions.
Mm.
That's exactly the same thing that the Illumishmati is doing. Like that, there's no
Mm.
difference between what he did, a truther did, and what the establishment does. No difference. And so, and I'm like, I thought, how this is why Catherine and I have been screaming about the truther community not being what you think it is for a long, long time. I mean, I've noticed it. We've talked about this. Like, if you don't believe the newest, hottest conspiracy they've put out, if you have questions, all of a sudden you're not awake because you don't believe this particular conspiracy. And I'm like, don't you understand that there is such thing as junk conspiracy that the bad guys of the world put out, inject into our society? So we're too busy over here in the junk conspiracy cul-de-sac chasing our tails while the real story is happening over here. Like, do you guys not step back and see they're playing chess, but the truthers are playing checkers? And so I this is just a prime example. And I'm not, we did a I Ching reading. Actually, Todd did a I Ching reading for me over the situation. And he was like, the I Ching basically said that my channel was the bigger person because I have the louder voice, and just to leave it, that it'll take care of itself, and that bad karma always comes around. And so I'm not too concerned about it because, again, it was completely in fair use, you know, just because you don't like, and that's another thing, Catherine, like feelings aren't facts.
I think this is a really important point because, most people, we always say this, we're talking to the converted. And so most of the people who actually take the time to watch this will not agree with everything we say, but have had similar, experiences. So we talk about DEI and this ridiculous, everyone gets a participation medal. You don't employ the best person for the job. You employ someone that's from a minority that you want to support, whatever's in flavor that week. And the fact is feelings are not facts. And look, we all need to take a look at not just our own personal lives, but the state of where we're all living. Everyone's watching this from different areas of the world. Some people will be in better situations than others, and we'll talk about some of those examples today. But the fact of the matter is if everything was working out fine and we were all making the best decisions, we wouldn't be in this shit show
Right.
personally things. And Brice and I laugh at ourselves. This is why we say in these coffee shops, we are coffee chats, we're not pretending we've got it all sorted. We will make mistakes again with people. We'll make mistakes by believing stuff. There's so much that now I'm just prepared to just wait, question, ask questions. But there's a big difference between asking questions and pretending you have the answer. And most of the time with these things that are going on globally, most of the people discussing them do not have the answers at all. So just repeating what they've said, parrot fashion, is just another form of mind control. It's
Yeah.
just a less obvious one than watching CNN or BBC.
Right. Right. It's people just don't know. They don't have a sense of self, and so they put their sense of self into a theology or an opinion versus actually sitting with themselves. And, and what's so crazy too is like with the hypocrisy, I mean, people in the truther community are so used to screaming at other people to wake up, but yet when
Yeah.
somebody tells them to wake up, they can't handle it. They
I
can't
get that
handle it.
comment more than anything else. So wake up, don't you realize that, he's playing 5D chess or this person's that? And I just ask people now, and it's a genuine question. I'm not even being sarcastic. Please explain to me what you mean by wake up.
Yeah.
And anyone who says, as David Icke, who's been on this journey a lot longer than virtually anyone else I know, no one is awake. There's not one single one of us is awake. We might think we know stuff, but we don't. It's like Cantor Seven says, I don't know no, but I know no.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's really funny because it's you. We might think we know something and we don't. Look, the divorce rate wouldn't be what it is if everyone was right with their assumptions about people. You don't go into a marriage not thinking it's not going to work, but look at the amount of time people that realize that they've married a narcissist or a serial adulterer or worse. Look at, covered loads on the religious side of things. You don't go into join a church thinking that you're joining a cult.
Right.
So
Yeah, no,
this is
no one
the
just
whole
joins a
point.
cult. They join a good thing.
Hey, come
Yeah.
on, let me join this cult and be brainwashed into doing all sorts of things that are probably going to put my life at risk and those of my loved
Yeah.
ones. This is the whole point. It's like our human psyche is very easy to control. And the more you study that, you more realize that we're all subject to it. But when you understand the tools that are being used, you're going to be less subjective to it than you would have been before you did that research. So,
And the funny thing too is, Catherine, Todd and I also reacted to a Linda Dyer video. I didn't even know who Linda Dyer was until one of our viewers asked us to look at her. She's a channeler. And everything she was promoting is Project Bluebeam.
Mm.
Like you're gonna hear voices in your head. It's gonna be the good aliens. Relax, it's fine. And then I went, and so, but these truthers are falling for it, and it's like this
Well,
is
that's really
literally.
dangerous. Sorry.
Oh, go
That
ahead.
is really, I don't know her, but that's amazing. I'm going to have to watch that video of yours because that is really dangerous. Because I did an interview with Jessie Beltrain, who's been studying the sort of voice to skull stuff and that how it's actually real, that this is science, this is real, this has been proven for years. Some people might have heard of the Havana syndrome. But if people are promoting things like that through their channeling, the awful thing is this is a known and control method that has been used for ages. So that is so
It's
dangerous and
so
could
dangerous.
literally destroy people's lives.
Yeah, and guys, this is someone who is like trying to say the truth, but she's actually a spokesperson. I don't know if she knows it or not, a spokesperson for the Illumishmati. And look
Yeah.
at this. This is from a Sergey, and I can't, guys, all of my Sergey Monas stuff is on Substack because literally can't. Like
Mm.
he was for putting this stuff out in 1996, so it's been this was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This is his analysis of the documents. He was an investigative journalist. He was not anything like he just was investigating and found all this stuff. So listen to this. Listen to this, Catherine. Anyone investigating so-called channeling phenomenon right now would be wise to take this area of research into consideration. It will be noted that those who think of themselves as channelers has escalated rapidly since this type of research was conducted. It is uncanny how similar their messages are, despite which entity they claim to be their source of divine guidance. It would suggest any individual considering the credibility of channeled information should be discerning and critically evaluate where the messages they are receiving originate and if the message are specifically beneficial to the new W order.
And it
So
is really important. And I'll say it before you get loads of comments and the things. So how do you and Todd work with that when you're channeling Lou?
we look at the messages we're getting. First of all, we're not doing
Yeah.
trans channeling. I will not entertain a trans channeler. I know, like Edgar Casey, there have been cases where people can trans channel, but I'm sorry. All trans channeling is someone just speaking their own imagination or their own programming, right? And that's what Linda Dyer does. She trans
Yeah.
channels. She's telling you might have to bleep that word in editing. I don't want to do to Todd's channel what's been done to mine. But when we talk to Lou, we listen to what Lou is actually telling us, and Lou has always maintained to have even discernment with Lou. He says that
Yeah.
it's okay to be critical. It's okay. And Lou always takes it back. He won't entertain conspiracies. Like when you talk, he's like, how is this important to your soul? Let's talk about your soul. What are you doing to take your sovereignty back? What are you doing?
Mm.
He's very it's interesting some of the stuff he said, some of the questions he's answered. And Todd and I don't have any books about Lou, like Linda Dyer has all. And somebody made a funny thing. Somebody said, I don't, this is just hearsay, guys, so take it with a grain of salt, just, allegedly we'll say. Someone was like, yeah, Linda Dyer, it's funny because every time she channels, the entity tells people to buy her products. Lou's
That's
never,
interesting. And
yeah,
I think, it's all about critical thinking and sort of saying, I think it's absolutely key, and I won't say the words again, but you've got to think, look, is this message taking me further towards my own entrapment, I'll say, or is it taking me further towards my own sovereignty?
yeah,
And it should be pretty clear which direction it's taking you in. And I think don't ever engage in something because why would you? We're all moving towards the Hunger Games very rapidly anyway. Let's not speed up that process.
right. I
Let's not
know.
do that. It's like scoring an own goal in a football match. We don't want to do that.
Let's stall it just enough so we can be
Yeah,
gone by the time.
yeah.
And exactly, and don't believe everything. It's so funny. I have a theory with like the Yoga Alliance and like Vinyasa Flow, because we know like the Yoga Alliance, Vinyasa Flow,
Mm,
that's controlled opposition. Like that's created by the real yoga is Ashtanga Iyengar Sivananda. That is from India. And we see this corruption in like the translations because real yoga, like Patabi Joyce used to say, real yoga is you learning how to control your own mind because yoga chitta vritti nirodha, not believing everything you think, understanding your thoughts are not your soul. It's a part of the experience of being in this life. And so I think what's happening, Catherine, is people are so it's like what Sergey Monast has said. Like they've literally conditioned even the truthers to be in this place of entitlement, my truth, my story, my instead of actually realizing it's all bullshit. Like there's the truth and there's your thoughts about it. And I'm looking
Mm.
here like artificial thought and communication. I might have to bleep some of these words. The advancement of techniques propel us towards the third step in Bluebeam project that goes along with the telepathic and electronically augmented two-way communication, where particular waves, will say, will reach each person from within his or her own mind, convincing them that their own God is speaking to them from the very depths of their soul.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that feelings aren't facts. Your thoughts are not facts. Can you be triggered? Can you hear an opposing opinion and not react to it and actually just listen? Just listen to that person's perspective. Or are you so conditioned to believe that you're right and your ego is the best that you're blocking all other perceptions to your own demise? If you think bar is easy or that it's not for men, this workout is going to change your mind. I just released a brand new 60-minute bar for men class on Fusion Body Studio, and this is hands down one of the highest demand workouts we offer. This isn't about aesthetics. It's about strength under fatigue, control, endurance, focus, the kind of work that exposes weak links and forges real power. This class is fiery, full body, and unapologetically challenging. Legs shake, core lightens up, upper body works non-stop. And yes, your mind will want to quit before your body does. You'll need something stable, a chair, a table, or a wall. Optional props include light dumbbells, a bar ball, or a resistance band. And just so you know, the music has some explicit language. This is grown-up training. This workout was shot on location at Ashtanga Yoga Atlanta in Atlanta's historic district. And the energy is real. No filters, no fluff, just work. If it gets too intense, walk in place, breathe, then jump back in. That's part of the training, learning how to stay present under pressure. And despite the title, women can absolutely do this class too. After all, strong is strong. To kick off the new year, you can get 40% off a one-time purchase using discount code NEWU26 at checkout. But the offer ends on January 20th, 2026. All you have to do is show up, do the work, and see what happens when you stop underestimating bar. Fusion Body Studio. Train your body, train your mind. I'll see ya in class.
I so
Yeah.
agree. And it's like it goes into all areas of life, like in health. You know, so many people we talk about listening to your body, and that is important, but it might not be your body giving you a clue. And so it's giving you the information. So for example, if you're full of parasites or you've got major dysbiosis in your gut, you know, those bacteria, those parasites, whether bacteria exist or not, look, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Those parasites, those bacteria, they want to live as much as you do. So they're saying, eat the sugar, eat that, you know, take that drug, it's keeping me alive. And it's miscommunication in exactly the same way. So this is why we have a heart and a head, and they're meant to be
Yes.
in coherence, is you're meant to listen to both of them. If you just listen to your head, you're going to be in trouble. Sometimes if you just listen to your body, you're going to be in trouble. So what you're meant to do is use the two in balance together to sort of say, is this really a channeler talking to me? Is it really my body saying that I want another donut? Or could this be the naughty little pesky parasites in there trying to keep themselves alive? You know, ask sensible questions.
I agree with that. I see that in exercise all the time, especially people that come from a pampered Western community. Just because something's uncomfortable does not mean
Mm,
that it's bad. It's actually good for your body. It's that your
yeah,
body, you're feeding your muscles, but we're entitled to become, and it's just bringing us to this. And Sergey Monas talked about this. We're going to be brought to a place of such selfishness that
yeah.
we destroy ourselves. And that's what I'm seeing in the truther community. That's what I'm seeing in the normie community. I'm right. I'm right. No, I'm right. And it's like none of us are right. Like none of us, as you've said, we don't this is not the density of knowing. We don't actually know. Like we're never going to fully know the whole story. I agree with David Icke. None of us are awake. We all
Mm.
are conditioned to certain programming, whether some are harmless, some programming is harmless,
Mm,
some are, but and some are harmful. And so we have to be able to evaluate that. And just because somebody doesn't believe every single conspiracy that's thrown at them doesn't mean they're asleep. It probably means they're more awake than you are. If
yeah.
they're able to like sit back and say, well, let's just like Todd used to do that when we first got on YouTube and all these things were being said and thrown around and things were crazy because we had lockdown and the summer of love and Todd would say, let's just wait and see how this plays out. Like, let's just wait
Mm,
and see how this plays out. And he was right because where is Nasara?
mm.
Where are these things that they don't exist?
Where's the revaluation? And just because it's in your constitution or it's legal or lawful, whichever words you want to use, I know they're different. But it's like Hillary Clinton is still walking free.
Yeah.
Tony Blair's still walking through in the UK just because something is unfair. As my dad used to say to us all the time when he was alive, life's not fair, get over it. Just
Yeah.
because someone is done something awful. Look, there's loads of war criminals that are still walking this planet completely fine, completely true. They're not all in Guantanamo Bay.
No
Sorry,
one's
if
in
they were,
Guantanamo Bay. No one. It's
we
empty.
wouldn't be in this shit show. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to take a dose of reality and sort of say, look, okay, I'd like this to be true. We can all fantasize. There's nothing wrong with having a few fantasies. But you've then also got to say, well, how is this playing out in real life? Because otherwise it's all going to be like the Hunger Games or V for
Yeah.
Vendetta, and we are literally locking ourselves in our own cage, which I am seeing a lot, which I think that if you're up for it, leads us on nicely to
Yeah. So I just saw it I sent it I saw a thing passed here in America where so for babies now I was born in 1983. I think we had like five when I was born. Now it's
mm.
like 72. And now they've brought it back down to 11 with a parent's freedom to choose. So a parent,
I don't think they have, though.
you don't think so?
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
So I'll send this link to Brice, but you can all go and see it. So I would strongly, strongly look at the Children's Health Defence and look at this article here. I'll send it to you. But basically, what it's really saying is actually it's 11 things you're looking for, but it still means a child before the age of 18, even if they just had those 11, would have over 30.
Wow. So they're playing with our words.
And also, yes, this is the thing. Now, two things can be true. Any of you who've watched Brice and I for a long while, we say all the time. So, anyway, have a look at this article, listen to it, make your own decision. But I'll send it to you, Brice, so you can
Okay.
pop the link in. But it's very misleading, and this is where there's so much nuance in that. We can so easily get excited. Now, this might be a really good thing. It is. Let's celebrate the small wins. I don't want to be a Debbie Down on that. But if you look at their wording of what they're doing, so it means that the aluminium levels have dropped by 25% approximately to 30% max. There's still loads of
Yeah.
aluminiums. A little bit of neurotoxin in a tiny baby is not a good thing.
No.
So what they're saying is the reason for doing this is to actually make people, because there's so much hesitancy now. I wrote about the jibby jabbies. So we've got to look at what this is actually doing. Is it really doing that? And when you read through it, it says that they still can mandate at a state level to have those before you go to school. So it's not all in the parents' control. States can override it, and there's still a huge amount are included, which they're now looking to add another one to.
That's so
So
crazy
I
because
would
so what
say,
they're saying parents have a choice, but if you can't get your kid enrolled in school,
yeah, what choice of people now, of course, you might do too, but for some people, particularly single parents, it's a real issue. Not everyone can home educate
yeah,
necessarily. Not
or not
everyone
everyone
has a
can afford
support
a private
network to do
school.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think it's about, I don't know, I've only had a quick look, and I'm not saying I take everything on Children's Health Defence as gospel. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is we have to look at these things with nuance, because this is what I think they're so expert at doing, is they're giving us a little bit of stuff, but the devil, as they say, is in the
and the
detail. And when
details,
you look
yeah.
at the detail, actually, what they're actually doing is sort of saying, almost saying to people, well, these 11 are essential. And look, I'm telling you, if your children had that, they are being majorly poisoned. So, I think people need to look into it a lot more. But the other thing you sent me about stopping the animal testing, I can't see any nuances. I mean, that's
I
amazing.
saw it this morning at the right before when I got up. I sent it to you, Catherine. Kennedy, of course, he's a huge animal lover where we see him, and they are definitely cracking down on animal testing and animal. I mean, it's awful. I'm sure it happens all over the world, but we have these like dog fights that people think about Michael Vick.
Mm,
And that is being actually Mr. T, his first term made animal cruelty a felony, a federal
mm,
felony, not a state felony. So it upped the crime for animal cruelty. And so that is an incredible thing that
yeah.
Robert Kennedy pushed through with Laura Trump, who is a huge dog rescuer, to make sure our animals are not subjected to testing, not subjected to electrocute, like the things they do, what Fauci has done that
Oh,
that this is now,
yeah,
which could lead to people like, I don't know. I don't know. We know these people, and as you said, it was just for people like Hillary Clinton's, to Fauci's, like, no, guys, of course they have body doubles. They all have body doubles. They all have people that
yeah.
stand in for them. Doesn't mean they've been arrested. That doesn't
Mm,
mean they've been arrested. And if the people who think they have been, where are you getting your information from? Is it just
mm,
hearsay from a YouTuber? Because
mm.
how is that any different than getting your information from Fox News? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're not doing, where is your information? Because the Secret Service guy that I've been in contact with has told me there is nobody is at Guantanamo Bay. No one.
Mm.
So,
I completely agree. So it is good small wins, but I think we've got to do our research. And because
yeah.
none of us, I hate that saying, do your own research. And everyone's sitting there thinking, I've got family, I've got jobs, I've got a sick relative to look after. I'm trying to make, means I'm trying to make my money go. I'm trying to home cook. I'm trying to make my own. So many people have got so much on. And this is what communities like ours are like for. We don't all need to know it all, but
No.
we do need to, don't trust anyone completely. Just use your own critical and sort of say, what is the motive behind this? I'm not saying RFK's motive is not good. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying when you go into the detail of it, it's pretty horrific. And I think actually it could be even more dangerous because what then doing is almost really reinforcing in people's minds, oh, these ones are essential, and they're not.
No, it's yeah, and what your dad, my parents used to say that too. Life isn't fair, but my parents would also say, is it too good to be true?
Yeah,
If
true.
something
Very
is
good.
too good
Yeah.
to be true, it probably is.
Mm.
We have to take accountability. The state that our world's in right now is not just the fault of the establishment. We allowed this to happen. We
Oh,
allowed this to
can I
get,
give you a round of applause for that? Because in all seriousness, Bryce, it's so, so true. Look, every single one of us, me, there's
Mhm.
loads I do that is my fault. I know better and I still do it. I do. So it's so important that everyone watching this, because I'm assuming it's adults watching this,
Yeah.
although I have got my little positivity duck here. He's adorable. Isn't he lovely? It's a positive duck. It says positive duck. It's got a lovely little message.
I
But
got my cleansing sage candle.
yeah, I've got my sage here as well. Look, he's sniffing it. That's why he's so positive. He's just
Yes.
sniffing. But in all seriousness, once you start ultimate responsibility, it doesn't mean that this shit hasn't happened to you. It doesn't mean that we haven't all been programmed. It's not negating your past, but that's the difference between we're moving into an age now where we've got to, as adults, stop behaving like spoilt toddlers. Once you know you've been lied to, once you know the whole system's inverted, then you like, okay, have a moment with your best friend and then get on with solutions. And this is
Yeah.
what it's all about. It's like, come on now, we're adults. We've been too spoilt for too long. I know there's everyone watching here will have had traumas in their life. I'm not negating that at all. But equally, we've got to start, it starts with us. Take the animal experimentation. Who here honestly looks at every bit of makeup, every
Right.
cosmetic,
Exactly.
every medication is tested on animals? So if you're taking any medication, who here, it's that saying, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegan. I just saw in America, and it's getting bigger over here, big time, is the halal slaughter, which
Yeah.
is absolutely barbaric. I saw New York, or just the new mayor or whatever it is of New York, or governor, I don't know
Oh
what it
God.
is,
Yeah.
has just said that he's going to make more of that. And I'm just like, do you know, every decision like that is shaping our reality.
Yep.
And that's saying that, good people who stand by and do nothing If you're eating meat, that's your decision. But to have it slaughtered in that way is absolutely barbaric, and that will cause an imprint on your soul.
Yeah, watch your shampoos. In America, it is marked. They have to mark whether it's been, animal cruelty free
Yeah,
or
same
not.
here.
Makeup, all sorts of stuff, lotion, anti-aging lotions, like they test this stuff on animals, guys, first, and I can't imagine like and we're responsible. We are in the Bible it says that we have dominion over the earth. That does not mean that we get the right to abuse. That means we are here as caretakers. We are
Yeah.
we're caretakers of the animals, caretakers of the planet. And so as caretakers, we cannot allow this violent and so it's but we have to be responsible. We have to be responsible. It's like the universe owes you nothing. Like the government does not owe us anything. There's no Nasara. We agreed to this. We agreed to be taxed.
And the thing
We
is,
consented.
I so true. I mean, I will say I have been so ignorant about the whole tax system. I've been so ignorant about so much of it. I put my hand up. I mean, don't ever play Trivial Pursuit with me because you do not want me on your team. If I'm interested in something, I know loads about it. If I'm not, and I've always not been interested in politics because I've always known they're a bunch of lying cheats, most of
Yeah.
them. There are some good ones, there are some very good ones, but unfortunately they're in the minority. And that's really sad because they get tarred with the same brush. But equally, we have to then have these difficult conversations. So a friend of my daughter's I saw posting, and she's from a certain religion that I won't say on Todd's channel. And all religions have got these issues. I'm not picking on one at all, but she was saying how she'd been searching because they have to eat halal meat. And I'm like, we have to be prepared to have these difficult conversations. It's not about trying to shame anyone or trying to make decisions for them and things like that. It's about informed consent.
Yeah.
And it's about, do you understand what you're promoting here? Do you understand? Because I didn't until very recently. I mean, until a few years ago, I'd never heard of halal meat. I didn't have a clue. And then when I looked it up, I thought, what planet am I on? What God could actually ask for this to be done to another living
It's
being?
absolutely. It's the same thing. I
But
mean,
then
that's
look
the
at Christianity.
it's same thing. It's the same God. It's Lucifer. Like same
Yeah.
as Mormonism, same as Jehovah's. I mean,
So we're
Jehovah's
not
Witnesses.
picking on one
No,
religion
it's
at all.
just
We're not,
it's what it
it's
is. It's all
across the
part of
board.
it's part of the same umbrella of control. Just different
Yeah.
flavors. It's like a crayon box with different colors. It's still the same crayon box. It's just different flavors of ultimate control.
But look
And
how normalized, if it's been normalized in our whole food system, our education system, our religious system, our
yeah,
political, no wonder people don't ask the questions. I
yeah,
mean, I've given an example before, and I was a vegetarian for years, and I seriously thought, and I'm talking well into my adulthood, so yes, I know you're going to laugh at me, I should have known better, but we're not psychopaths, so we don't think. And for years, I thought dairy farming wasn't cruel, and I'm not talking about you having a couple of cows in your backyard and
yeah.
looking after them lovingly. Some farmers give animals an amazing life, so I'm not tarring everyone. I'm talking about factory
The
farming,
industry.
commercial
Yeah,
factory, industrial farming. And I was like, well, milk's fine because, they've still got their cars with them. And then someone showed me about, well, how do you think they get them to do? They take their calves away and make them a veal. And I was like, how could I have been? I didn't think. I didn't think. And this light bulb, but the difference was, is once the light bulb moment went off, I made different decisions.
yeah.
So it's not about shaming anyone,
When you know better,
but
you do better.
you have to be prepared to have that difficult decision. So I will literally say to this person, look, she's a young lady, a lovely young lady. I'll say, do you understand what this means? Because possibly she's got no idea what it means.
Right, right.
And if she does, I'm not responsible for her decision, but at least I've advocated for some animals just to make sure then she's making an informed choice.
I mean, we even with Ravi's food, because you have us on Ravi, and it's been life-changing for Ravi. Like, we're vegetarian, but Ravi is a meat eater because he's a dog. We get his meat. Todd researched like crazy to find a
Yeah.
specific company that would absolutely, there'd be no cruel. Like, this is important because we're making these choices. And if we support the companies that are doing good, they're
Yeah,
going to start to be, like my mother used to always say, you vote with your dollar. Like you have,
yeah,
where you put your dollar is where the power goes. And so it's so important. Even with the taxing situation that's getting out of control in all of our countries, I laugh because, you know, what almost 250 years ago, the patriot the colonists got a 3% tax raise on tea, and what'd they do? They got on a boat and they dumped it in the fucking sea. And now we're just accepting it. We're just like, so we have to take, but I think the thing, Catherine, it goes back to Sergei Monast, what he claimed. Generations before us, before the real hardcore brainwashing started, they accepted doing uncomfortable things. They accepted
exactly.
that in order to have life the way they wanted, that they were going to have to risk certain things. They were going to have to
Yeah,
sacrifice certain things. People today, especially the truthers, won't even get up to go for a walk. So, and
exactly.
Sergei Monas warned us. He said this is what they were going to do. They were going to make sure that we were in the Western world, we were, because Sergei Monas was not an American, he was a French Canadian, that we were going to be so bombarded with entitlement and laziness that they could just walk all over us because generations before us, they couldn't do that because we would have done stuff like thrown the tea into the bay to the harbor, you know? It's I mean the end of the of Independence, they write, and with these words, I'm paraphrasing, we pledge to each other our life, our honor, our liberty, and our life. Like we are willing to die for this declaration. Nobody in today's society would do that. They would just accept the chip versus be uncomfortable for a second. And that's so my question too is we have so my thing for 2026 is we have to take accountability of where we fucked up, not the establishment where we messed up, and we have to also be willing to get uncomfortable, do the uncomfortable research, really take accountability for every single choice that we make.
I love it. And I just was just looking up some stats before one thing because I couldn't remember the thing. But if we took like even things like for our food supply, everyone moans quite rightly so. Again, two things can be true. Psychopaths are running the food supply. But after World War II, about 50% of households in the UK were growing their own food in back gardens, in allotments, community plots, converted parks and sports fields on virgins. And it was absolutely, we took responsibility. Pre-war, only about 35% of the UK's food was produced domestically. After the war, up to 60% of the food was domestically, even more. And what we've done now is we've got so lazy. We want to have choice. We want to be able to eat all these exotic foods. We want to be able to, let's face it, in the UK, there's not a lot that grows in the winter.
Right.
But it was nutritional and it was seasonal food and we were a
Right.
lot healthier for it. So yes, we might not have been able to have all these amazing recipes and superfoods from the other side of the world, but how much for superfood are they before they by the time they get
And
to
do you
your plate?
necessarily need it if it's not growing in your environment? Maybe it's a superfood for
Completely.
where it's for the people that live where it's located, right?
And
And
trust me, in those days, sorry, I just interrupted,
oh, you're
but
good.
you and I spoke about this, I think, just before Christmas on my channel. It's like in those days, people were still working hard. Housewives did not have washing machines,
Nope.
tumble dryers, home deliveries. They couldn't order fast food or things like that. So it was a
Nope.
full-time job looking after the family. And yet they still came back after a day's work and grew their own food. But they didn't see it as a hardship. It was literally accepted as normal. And why would it not be normal to take responsibility for what you eat? A squirrel doesn't sit there and wait for a supermarket delivery. It
No.
has to go and find its own food. We are literally, apart from the poor animals that we've domesticated, and it's a hard life. Look, I'm re-looking at my life completely because I fall into traps. I'm quite lucky that I live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't get any deliveries. But I think it's really important that we take a hard look and sort of say we have consented to this, either consciously, normally, unconsciously, without knowing. I didn't still don't understand as much as I need to about tax. I just know that it's all corrupt. But we can make changes and it will be okay. And actually, when we do go back to those different forms of life, we'll all be a lot healthier and a lot happier.
Absolutely. I mean, as you're saying that, I was thinking about speaking of dairy back before it was an industry, how many women would have to turn their own to make their own butter?
Yes.
That was normal. The washing, that was normal.
And
And
they
it's
didn't have bat wings then. I haven't actually got bat wings because I lift a lot of horse stuff. But in all seriousness,
yeah,
all these things were using your body.
yeah.
They didn't need to go to a gym
No, because
because
they
their
were
daily
living the
life was a
life.
workout.
They accepted being uncomfortable, that nothing that is good is free. And
Yeah,
if it's too good to be true, they worked and they built countries, they built empires, they built, people often, speaking of like my English heritage, I'm so sick of people getting mad at like people of English heritage for like colonizing. I'm like, our ancestors did stuff. Like they
yeah.
actually, was it perfect? No, nothing is. But they actually went out and did stuff and they created empires. And that doesn't happen because you're lazy and you just accept things because it's easier to accept something than to actually do something about it. I mean, look at the English Civil War. They literally chopped a king's head
Yeah.
off because they
Well,
put him on trial.
it's just quite shocking. I mean, I look back and I just think, wow, it's almost like they were different species to what we are now. Now, of course, we've been made like that, but we can make little steps. Everything wasn't perfect then. We're not
No.
pretending, we're not looking back through rose-colored glasses. But that's the point about living is you take what's good and keep that and then improve on the stuff that wasn't. We do you remember years ago we spoke so much about Tartarian, the buildings and things like that. Look at the level of craftsmanship. Look at anyone watching this, who's my age or above, look at how your grandparents lived their life and how
Yeah.
they valued everything and there was no waste and they had the same furniture for life and they treasured it and looked after it. And I'm like, how did people manage without washing machines?
Well, just even the
You know,
penmanship, the fact, look at their penmanship, the way they wrote,
oh,
you know,
beautiful.
beautiful. All of my grandparents had beautiful handwriting. My mom and my dad, well, my dad's a vet and doctor, so you can't really read it, but
Yeah.
one of the requirements to be a doctor. But the penmanship is just so beautiful. My grandfather, it's big in the South. What they do, you have a family Bible and they write everybody's name down and like who they are. So you have like your family genealogy and your own. So my grandfather had that and it's
Wow.
beautiful penmanship from that age. And my grandfather was born left-handed. And back then they thought left-handed people were demonic. So they trained him to be right-handed. And
Wow.
even though that's not his dominant hand, he still wrote with his right hand. Beautiful. I mean, I will say the one good thing is we don't have to wear corsets anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I
And
know
we
that
can
is
vote.
rather good.
Oh, I
And we
don't
can
know.
wear trousers and things like that. But no, I mean, and look at the synthetic clothing and
Yeah,
everything. We now know how harm that is. So I just think it's not about idolizing the old times, but there's so much we can learn. And I think the level of laziness and entitlement for all of us, me
yeah,
included, is a really good chance to take stock because it's like health, if you don't do it voluntarily, you will be forced to do it. And we are very
absolutely.
rapidly heading that way, aren't we? And I've had a couple of weeks in the UK and my Canadian friends laugh at me so much because they're under like 6 foot of snow, but you guys are more set up for it. I've had no water for my horses because it's all frozen, the pipes going down there. So I've been carrying like hundreds of buckets of water down there each day. And actually, when you haven't got fresh water for an animal yourself, it's really scary.
Yeah.
It's really, really scary. And it's really made me think, wow, actually, how much do I rely on these things and what other
Oh,
plans do I need to
vulnerable.
put in place? Vulnerable, very
Vulnerable.
vulnerable. I mean, horses drink a lot of water. Yeah,
Well, I hate to brag, but we have like 70-degree weather here, which is, I don't
I
know what that is in
know.
Celsius, but it's really nice. It's not super hot. It's like perfect. We were out in the PARK. Sorry, guys, that's a trigger word for Ravi. And there were people in sports bras running yesterday. So,
Yeah,
so to the
I
Canadian.
know. Don't. I was looking at my car in the background, all the dogs and cats. Although that's why the dogs were itching because they get a bit hot by the fire. So, but I used to say I'm a reptile, but of course I can't say that anymore.
No, because now people, yeah, God, listen, yeah. Nobody
Yeah,
knows how to take a joke anymore either,
I
guys.
know.
We gotta
I
lighten
know.
up. None of us would have survived in the Tudor court of England because we're too selfish and entitled. They were tough and they were quick. And so, yeah, I think we just gotta figure, and just even walking places, like in America, we don't walk anywhere. I mean, we have big cities. So, but the fact that our ancestors walked places to do
But we
things
have big
like
cities and we still walk everywhere. I mean, when my daughter came to live in the States, that's why she came home. She's like, I cannot believe they drive everywhere. It's
we
just,
drive
but
everywhere. Now in Atlanta, we do have MARTA, which is like a subway
yeah,
system, but the problem is it's so hot here. MARTA, there's no air conditioning. so no one takes it because you literally will just be drenched in sweat. And so no one wants to like go to court and be drenched in sweat. But yeah, we're a driving country, but our ancestors walked everywhere.
Yeah.
Our, they walked or rode horses.
It's
And
like a
so
Labrador dog is, designed to be moving at least 20 kilometers a day.
yeah,
You can't keep a Labrador healthy by taking them to the park and letting them chase a ball for 20 minutes, so yeah,
we do 5 miles a day with Ravi. That's what
yeah,
keeps him happy is about 5 miles. I don't know what that
same
is
with
in
mine. Yeah, that's
um,
about the same as mine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we do. I don't know what that is, and but you can guys can translate that because that's what we read when we adopted him. Like what was
yeah,
going to be the best for him because he's a street dog. They walk about 5 miles a day. And
yeah.
so we make sure, and nobody can believe that he's 9 years old. He has
Mm.
a gray hair
Seems
on his
my
snout.
babies.
I think he's gonna, because they say they can live up to 25. I think that's gonna be
Mm,
him because he still acts like a puppy. He still gets hyper. He's still very, no gray, no laziness, So,
mm.
so anyway, it's yeah, but that's our edge. Like we again with Ravi, what do? We researched. We made sure instead of
Absolutely.
just accepting, and we even went to you, Catherine, because we were using the kibble. Ravi was not eating it. He was losing his hair. So we talked to you. That's what we got on it. So we are constantly proactive with Ravi to make sure we're giving him the best life possible and keeping him as healthy as possible. So why don't we do the same for ourselves?
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, well, this was fun, Catherine. Hopefully
Oh, I love
2026
our
will be a
coffee chats
better.
because we literally we're imagining you all there with us. And I think, for me, 2026 is about letting go of a few things. I'm going to be cutting down on some of the things I've been doing because I'm focusing in more on what's really, top of the list priorities for me. And the great thing is just like you touched on then, with both of the work that we do sort of off camera, when you learn something, you share something. And I think that to me is what community is all about. Every single person watching this has got a different skill, a different, and there's no hierarchy. Someone who knows how to preserve food is worth their weight in gold, literally.
Yeah.
So I think appreciating where your passion is and what you want to research and share out with the world is that's real community to me now.
Absolutely. And I will ask for guys down in the comment section below. Let us know what the greatest lesson you learned in 2026 was, and not necessarily resolution, but what do you hope to do better?
Mm.
When you know better, you do better in 2026. And same thing for my channel, guys, with the AI stuff. That's why I haven't done a whole lot of deep diving because what they do is like I used to do, what got my channel big, what they do now is they listen, they take your information, they put you in the corner and they put a fake channel up with AI
Mm.
with basically your research. So it's still going on, but we are going to be doing more. We're going to be doing more lives. We're going to be doing memberships, all that kind of stuff. We're going deep into Visions of Glory. If you're interested in like cult stuff and like wackadoo beliefs, join us. It does get shadow banned though, so make sure you're looking. Please make sure you guys go to Catherine's channel, Todd's channel, my channel, and make sure you look because YouTube doesn't, Also, you can subscribe to Catherine and me on Substack.
Oh,
Um,
please do, because we're doing it so much better. I'm so pleased you got me on Substack, Bryce, because I'm loving it.
it is, yeah, and I'm still learning things
Brilliant.
about Substack. I'm pulling
Oh,
mine up
yeah.
right now. And I will put Catherine's down below as well. Todd doesn't have a Substack, but he doesn't need one because I basically send his channel information out. So what this does, you guys, because we are put in the corner a lot, like this video got massively put in the corner, this one. And so that means there must be something about it that we said that's accurate. But if you subscribe to my Substack and Catherine's Substack, it doesn't cost you anything, but we love our supporters on Substack. I didn't even know people could support you on Substack, but I've gotten supporters. Thank you guys so much. That means the world. But you can just sign up. And every time I release a video like this video, I'll do a Substack and I will put an email with a link to the video, and you'll get an email in your inbox of any time I release a video. And so if that helps because we can't, you get no, you have the bell you can ring on YouTube, but Catherine and I don't control that.
Yeah.
The platform, I've gotten that complaint a lot, Catherine. I'm like, I have no control over that. That's the platform.
Yeah.
And so this gives me a sense of control where I can personally reach all of the people who you have to subscribe. You can't, you have to subscribe. Every time, so once I have a new post, a new video, I'll go in, do it, click the link, and send it out to you guys. And so you get it
Yeah.
directly from us. So make sure you are subscribed to our Substack. I'll put all Catherine's links down in the description box below as well, you guys. And I thank you so much to our people for understanding the predicament that Catherine and I are in, and for continuing to be with us and to stand by us and to help us along the journey as well, because it's extremely frustrated. I feel like somebody just comes around us and just puts their hand over our mouth, Catherine, to get us to
Mm.
shut up. These women, they want us to get back in our box and,
It's given me such an appreciation for what the whistleblowers go through,
yeah,
real whistleblowers that have absolutely literally put their life on the line, and a lot of them literally have lost their life in the process, for really sharing all this information that we so desperately need to sort of open our eyes and think, oh my goodness, this is what's been happening, and it's all by design. And
yeah.
but once you know that, you can do something about it. That's the great thing.
Yeah. Speaking of whistleblowers, guys, Kresha from Difficult Research is going to be, I don't know because we're filming right after that with her, so I don't know which one will drop first, Catherine's video or Kresha, depends on looking at the algorithms. But if her video is already dropped by the time you get this, guys, it's going to be on Todd's channel too. Make sure you go, because she is a huge whistleblower for the Lori Vallow Daybell. She got massively slammed to the side because she figured out what was really going on, not what the mainstream narrative media was telling us. And so, very fascinating girl. And so make sure you guys check her video out too, and all of Catherine's videos, guys, because you get a lot of like health, I would say health whistleblowers on your channel. That,
Absolutely, some huge ones, and the ones that can't go on there are on Rumble.
yeah,
And now I was a bit behind Brice starting my Substack, so I've got a really interesting one on very one that everyone needs to know on health on there, and links to the Rumble video, and I do a lot of health whistleblower work on there. So please,
yeah,
please do connect in, because this is stuff that literally can save lives.
yeah. And Sergey Manas, all his stuff is on Substack too, guys, because he
I
can't go.
love his work. I
He can't
just,
go.
it's,
Yeah, he cannot go on. I mean, this guy, guys, 1996, they
yeah,
took him out.
yeah.
And I have piles and piles and piles. I keep ordering more and more and more. There is one I sent to you, Captain, that I really want to, that goes through these. But unfortunately, that one's in French. She never got a chance to translate
Right.
it to English. I can get it. My mother can possibly translate it. But with that being said, if I have any French speakers that want to look at it and let me know, I mean, I guess I could put it through ChatGPT, but even that I don't trust. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, they took him out before he was able to he was a French speaker, he was French Canadian, that before he was able to translate it to English for us English
absolutely
speakers.
critical
Yeah.
information for everyone to at least get a bit of a grasp on,
Could you
because it just
imagine
goes
that coming
out.
out in 1996, Catherine? Like how wild that would have been in 1996. Now we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But
Mm,
he was really ahead of his time. And
mm,
rest his soul, R.I.P. Sergei Monast. I hope his children ended up having a good life without their father. It's very sad what happened to him, but he definitely, I'm so happy that not just me, but other people are going back and looking at his work,
mm.
because he's like a David Icke, right? Like he's
Oh
somebody
yeah,
that really
absolutely.
cared about humanity and cared about citizens all over the world, and was
Mm,
really trying to like get people to realize that it's not us against us, that we're
yeah,
all being controlled by the same group. And so rest in peace, dear Sergei Monast. And I hope he's smiling down on us doing his work now. So yeah, so you guys make sure you go to Substack. Let's keep his work alive. And so anyway, well, thank you, Catherine. So next week, guys, if you are watching from Todd's channel, next week we will be over on Catherine's channel. I don't know what the topic is yet. Catherine will think of something, and
we
never
will. We'll
know.
see what comes up. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Thanks, Bryce.
Bye,
Take
everybody.
care. Bye.
Todd's on the run.